entrepreneurship is 24/7. If you want to work and then go chill and then like not think about work, like this is not for you. Because there will always be somebody that is willing to work 24/7 that will beat you.
You're listening to Deal Closers, brought to you by websiteclosers.com, a show about how to build your e-commerce business to be profitable, scalable, and one day even sellable. I'm Jason Gillikin, and on the show today, Website Closers Ron Matheson, Isaac Porter, Jason Garatas, and I talked to a founder who grew up in a tiny country, a tenth the size of California, moved to the U.S. at 18 to go to college, which didn't quite work out, started his online business, sold it, and he's still just 22 years old. You know, when someone moves to a different country, it's a pretty risky proposition. Many times they're leaving their families behind, their language behind, and they have to completely change their way of life. It's no wonder that immigrants tend to take risks in business too. In the United States, immigrant entrepreneurs make up 22% of all business owners, despite being just 14% of the population. For Vilen Abrahamyan, he's one of those risk takers. He grew up in Armenia and decided when he was 18 that it was time to move to the United States for college. And although English wasn't his first language, he figured it out.
I started watching YouTube videos since I was like 11, just the topics that I was interested in. I literally started from like knowing 0 words at all, and all I did was just started the captions on all videos, and I would just stop the video and translate the sentences with Google Translate, and that's how I got to learn English. Because going through the academic way of learning English, if you talk that way to people, it's like it sounds weird. It's not the same way as just like communicating with a regular person.
YouTube University is something that Vilen would become very familiar with because when he got to the U.S. with plans on enrolling in San Jose State University, they told him he had to wait another year. So he enrolled in community college, but he felt like he was learning more on YouTube than in his classes, and he wasn't quite sure what to do about it.
I was sitting there, I'm like, well, might as well just, start working. But then I thought, like, I don't have a college degree. I don't have a degree at all. So probably I'm not going to get any job that I want, right? I'm just going to get a minimum wage. So, and that's what I did. So I was a lifeguard for 3 months because I have a swimming background in Armenia. And meanwhile that I was doing that, I was like, maybe I should start my own thing. Like I'll try this online thing. And it all started with like scammy websites of like how to make money online and all those like stupid videos. But it's just like, that's how I just stumbled upon like the whole online world of business.
Okay, so did you fall for any of the scammy, here's how to make 6 figures tomorrow?
I watched all those videos. I learned a bit, but I didn't buy any courses, or like I didn't waste that much.
Yeah. No.
So how long did you stay in school at the community college?
Yeah, so I stayed there for a year and a half, and I pretty much started the like learning about online business maybe a couple months after I started college. So it was right, like I moved to the US within like 5 months. I'm trying to learn something, how to make money online. So over a year and a half period, I tested out a bunch of, I tried to sell, I tried to design, like booklets. I tried to do direct affiliate marketing. I tried to do email marketing. I tried to do an online fitness training coaching business. I tried to do chatbots, automation. So for a year and a half, I pretty much tried everything that I could get my hands on, like even e-commerce and anything and everything that I could do, and just like failed on everything. But I mean, throughout, I also had a goal of just reading a book every 2 weeks, like a specific business book. So after like a year and a half, I already had like 30 books under my belt, and I already had like so many failures, and kind of every 3 months or so, I would just go back and like look what I did. And I was like, okay, so I did this didn't work. What can I learn from here? Like, right. So after that, it was May of 2019, and it was right at the end of the quarter, and I started Getfora.com. I was like, let me give this e-commerce one more shot. And I launched the website, I launched the ads, and within 2 hours, I got my first sale. And for the whole year and a half, my only goal was just to make $1 profit online, profitable. And I remember I spent $10 on ads and I got a $20 sale, and $6 was the cost of goods. And I was like, if I shut down everything right now, I've made $4 in profit. So I've reached my goal in the last year and a half. I have made $4 in profit, and I was just ecstatic. So I was thinking, like, if I can make this work, because I wasn't going to take any summer classes, if I can get to 10K a month till September, I'm not going back. So that's pretty much how it happened. So I didn't officially like drop out. I didn't call them like, I'm not coming back. Like, screw you. It's just I stopped going to classes after a quarter, and like I never went back.
And they're still trying to call you. And actually, what they're going to be calling you for alumni donations now.
They call me. They're like, oh, they asked me like, so do you work? I'm like, yeah. So how much is it that related to your studies in the ends? I'm like 0%. Yeah, they gave the call.
Man,
so I have a question. I have a question about. Hi, Vilen. Thanks for being on here. I have a question about, what it was like when you first got over here. I don't know if you come from money or if you had a lot of money, but I would assume that things were a bit stressful. No, I mean, as you're trying all these things out and time is passing, and it sounds like you were doing lifeguarding and so forth. But I would assume that there was a little bit of stress.
Not really. I'm so grateful about that. So I don't come from a money family. I mean, there was a time where 4 of us in Armenia, we lived on $2 a day, and I'm so grateful for my. I mean, I've watched my dad like work throughout his whole life, and I mean, he's a top 1% earner. He works at a software company, so just watching that, like the whole spectrum of living on loans, and then to getting to a place where it's like you drive a nice car, you don't have to worry about food and stuff. So when we got here, like I have no bills, I have pretty much nothing on me. So I was thinking just like, even if it takes me a year, 5 years, 10 years, like what do I have to lose? Even if it means like I save all this money from a regular job and I waste it on business, like I have nothing to lose. I'm never going to be in a position where my dad was, where like I have to worry about today's food. So I'm super grateful about that. And it kind of give me he also kind of didn't force me to he was like, just do your thing, so I just had the ability to explore this new country and all the opportunities that it gives you, yeah.
So I assume you would recommend what you've done to others in Armenia, right?
Of course.
Why not? This is a world of. I mean, America is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah. So my friends, like one of my friends, I was with him a few days ago. I just came back from a trip, and he's like, "So how do I get there?" I'm like, "Look, he's a software engineer. I'm like, just get extremely good at what you do, and then apply it to H-1B visas to all the software companies here, and just get here, right? Because like this." There's so many things to do. If I go back to Armenia, let's say I have to start from zero, I can obviously do everything from zero in there as well. But just the environment, just the like seeing everything around you, seeing the structure, like it's a lot different there. So it clears up your mind, and it gives you the vision to see like what is out there.
Very cool. It's a great story.
It is.
Vilen, go back to your learnings about e-commerce and affiliates and all that. What were some of the lessons there of like why this wasn't working, and how did you apply that to Getfora?
So major thing, one of the biggest things was that I was just treating it as a side hustle and like make money online and just push 2 buttons and make like $100 a day in income. Like I personally don't believe that happens, right? So it's like, oh, make $100 with e-com. Like if you have the business that makes $100, you can make $1,000 a day. You can make $10,000 a day. So it's a business, right? It's not a make money online side hustle. It's a business. So everything changed when I started to treat it like a business. So another big thing was I was sold on all of this automations and like funnels and kind of optimizations and order bumps and like all of that stuff, when in reality it's like, do you know how to sell a product? Do you know, like, you got to take a product that people want, you got to sell it. So it doesn't make a difference whether the advertisement is on a newspaper, on a TV, or on Facebook. It's the same advertisement. So it's like, so all of the fundamental things change. It's kind of the biggest learning was that there's a lot, 99% of the information out there is like noise, and you can just disregard those and just focus on the basic fundamentals. And that's how I kind of, that's when it clicked for me.
Basic fundamentals, like how do you know what that 1% is? So like there's 99% noise. How do you know what's a 1%? Like, here are the core fundamentals.
Look for people, look for mentors, and the people who are sharing good information instead of flashing a lifestyle. You know what I mean? So there are
Yeah.
a lot of people online that just share the lifestyle, and they sell you the dream, and they're like, oh, you can do 2 hours of work for 2 weeks and then you'll have a Lambo, right? So that doesn't happen. So, and then also read the books, the fundamental good books. Like don't read novels. I mean, not don't read them. It's like, do whatever you want. But if you wanna if you wanna read books that help you in business, just read specific business books. Like, for example, the Personal MBA. That's one of my favorite books. That's super helpful. Just like reading that book alone will get you like 50% into business mind. It's like, oh, so I have to do all of this stuff to actually start making money. I actually have to know about taxes. I actually have to know about accounting. I actually have to know about marketing and sales, and like, so instead of just go to this scammy website and click these two buttons and share your social security number
And get your Lamborghini.
Yeah.
So Vilen, you didn't do a mastermind or anything like that. It's just all trial and error.
So for about a year, it was all trial and error. But then also, I would just, let's say if it was a course. I remember it was a course from Alex Becker, and he offered $1 for 30-day trial, and the whole course was for 6 months. So what I did is I paid $1, and within 1 month I watched the full thing, the 6-month course, and then I just canceled it because I couldn't afford to pay the continuity program. And then when I was at the lifeguard job and I had saved up a bit of money, I bought this. It was a consulting accelerator course by Sam Ovens. One of the best $1,500 that I've spent. So that's another course that I bought, and yeah. And then when I started ecom, I got one more course for ecom, but that one was I already knew kind of the fundamentals. So, but yeah, pretty much a majority of trial and error, and books, and then a couple of courses.
So Vilen, you said you had that first order with Getfora for $20 and you made $4 on it. And you had a goal of getting to $10,000 a month. I guess take us back. Like, what exactly is Fiora and Getfora.com? Is it a affiliate site? Is it a drop shipping site? Like, what is that?
Yes. So Getfora.com was it started as being just a dropshipping website for a full coverage makeup foundation. And when I started, there were probably 50 different sellers on Facebook selling the same product, right? And then, like, fast forward 3 years later, we were the biggest seller in the entire world and had licensing agreement with the manufacturer, just pretty much hundreds of thousands of customers and returning customers. But yeah, it just started as a simple drop shipping website. And the idea was for the first year and a half, the goal was just to make $1 in profit, because I knew that if I can make $1 in profit, I can make a lot more. and I knew that if I can, once I get it going, like it's not unreasonable to get to 10K per month within a few months. So it kind of worked out, and I actually made 16K profit first month first full month.
What?
Yeah, because I already knew from the year and a half before of all the failures, and I already knew how to do Facebook ads. I already knew how to get an LLC going. That I have to get an LLC, get an S corp. I already knew how to do accounting. I already knew like what cost of goods, gross margin, and all that stuff. So I just I just did not have a place to implement the knowledge that I learned before. And once I had the first sale, I was like, okay, this is it. I think I can make this work.
That is incredible. So 16K profit in your first month. Are we talking like 100K then in revenue?
No, it was like 60K in revenue and 16 in profit. So first 2 weeks, the very first 2 weeks. So first sale I got on May 14th till May 31st. I believe it's a 31 day month. I had 2,000 in sales and $50 profit. And then the month of June, I had about 60,000 in sales and 16K in profit. And then July was $100,000 in sales and 32K profit. And yeah.
I mean, what's going through your mind at this point? Because you're going from zero and just hoping to make $1 to making, you said 32 grand in your second month.
I was just terrified.
Terrified.
I was terrified of losing it. So I spent $0. I mean, I didn't have even time to spend any money, but I was just working all day and night. I was handling all the comments, all the emails, all the order fulfillment. I was fulfilling them manually. So I was just doing everything since the moment I opened my eyes to the moment I closed my eyes, just like straight up work 7 days a week. And I kind of knew what to expect, because I had this idea in my mind. I was like, if I can, even the year and a half before that, I was just working very hard. I was like, eventually it's going to happen. So when it did, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't, I mean, I was very happy. I was ecstatic, but it wasn't like, oh, this is a dream that I'm going to wake up from. It's like, oh, okay, so this is where I get to reap all the benefits of my previous work. The rocky cutscene, I like to call it.
And also the hard work, the 7 days a week. That's what it takes as an entrepreneur. Full time.
Definitely. It's 24/7. It's
sure is.
It's 24/7, and I learned that from Henry Ford, his autobiography. It's such a good book. He's like, entrepreneurship is 24/7. If you want to work and then go chill and then like not think about work, like this is not for you.
That's right.
Because there will always be somebody that is willing to work 24/7 that will beat you.
Man, I want to have that quote from Henry Ford on my wall. If you want to work and then go chill, quoted by Henry Ford.
I'm paraphrasing.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
slightly paraphrasing.
I know. I'm messing with you. So, Vilen, when was there any sort of mental relief about losing that fear of losing it all?
When I exited the company.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get to that. Did you experience growth in terms of team members? Was there anybody that could take some things off your plate?
Yeah. So after a month of fulfilling orders pretty much from AliExpress, like manually, I got in touch with an agent, and I was lucky enough to get recommended this agent, so I didn't have to go through all the screening process. And so that was pretty much the first team member who started taking over the fulfillment. And then after doing 2 months of customer support, I got a customer support representative, and that was pretty much the team for whole year, the first year, those 2 people. And then I would do everything else myself, mainly because I wanted to do it to learn. Like I wanted to do the 2 months of customer support so that when I got a person, I already had the templates of, well, this is the email, this is the question, this is the response, these are all the scenarios. Like if it's outside of this, ask me. We're gonna handle, and we're gonna add it to the FAQ list. And then like I did the whole accounting, first year of accounting myself. Like I prepared the numbers for tax filing. Like I did the like LLC turning that into S corp. So I did all of that myself, like Facebook ads, creating videos, video editing, shooting the content. So all of that I did it myself just to learn. And then beginning of 2020 is when I started to get more team members.
Yeah, and it seems like with those SOPs in place, you are very well set up for a potential exit because you already had those things done. It's so easy as a founder to just not go through the motions, but do what's right in front of you and not truly go after those SOPs. But it sounds like you had that great foundation.
Yeah, it was definitely important, because when you have a kind of a process, it's two ways. You don't have to be extremely kind of rigid in those processes, because the business is growing and you have to give yourself the flexibility of changing. And anytime you're doing something, you probably can do it better. So I didn't have it like, oh, this is the way and this is 100% is going to be the way for like forever. But I still had the kind of this is the goal of this process. This is the problem, and this is what we're trying to achieve. And in between, this is how we do it, but it can also be changed. But it also helps you, like when you get a team member, let's say your customer support rep leaves you, and like suddenly they're like, oh, I'll be gone tomorrow. Then you can easily hire another person and give them the SOP to start working the following day. So it's important.
Vilen, you mentioned something I want to go back to. You said you were talking about problem solving. One of the things that stood out to me when I think the first time or the second time that we talked is you said that you've encountered every problem there is and figured out how to overcome it. And that was pretty much your attitude, through the whole startup process and through the whole transaction. Can you tell us about some of the problems, even before you went to market, but some of the problems that you've encountered in the business and how you resolve them?
Definitely. So problem number one, the orders weren't being fulfilled as fast as I wanted. Solution: scream at the supplier. But yeah, that was one of the first ones. Like I had to figure out the way to communicate with the supplier and way to manage the inventory. And make sure that the orders are being fulfilled every day. And it mostly required me to staying on top of things when I did not want to do that. Another problem that I hit, I got my ad account shut down pretty much after 2 months. So in August of 2019, and it got shut down because the bank rejected the payment from Facebook, and then the ad account went down, and then I applied. Then the same thing happened twice, and then there was a bug on Facebook that shut down the account 3 times, so I couldn't appeal it. So I texted the Facebook rep support. They're like, "Oh, just open another ad account and then start advertising." Newsflash: you can't do that, circumventing their policies. So I got my business manager shut down, and I just knew that if I try to do the same thing, I'll get my personal account shut down, which would just wipe me out. So I would just wait for a week, try to figure out how to do it, and then found a solution to that. Got back to work, and that figured that whole thing out. Then for a few months, another problem was the ads, like solving the ads and like inconsistency and how to grow, right? So I learned all I could about that, fixed that. Beginning of 2020, COVID hit, huge supply issues. Like I learned how to manage customers during that period, like manage thousands of angry customers, how to create systems like spreadsheets of managing problem orders and how to handle individually and kind of create a hierarchy of solutions. It's like, oh, if this customer, like we offer them, we just say sorry, and then we maybe offer them a discount for next order. If they don't want, maybe we offer them a free product with their shipping, or maybe we offer them a partial refund, and then we go to the refund, right? So like a hierarchy of solutions. That was a big issue. Another issue that I encountered was I used a clip from an influencer bought the product from our website, and she made a review video on it, and then I used a clip from this review video, and then I got DMCA claimed, and the whole website went down. The whole Facebook ad account went down. So that was a major issue. It took me so long to just grinding my teeth out to find a solution with that individual, because she was so mad at me. I don't know why, but guess that happens. So that during that time, I again went back to like my Facebook solution of how to start a backup to keep it separated, that you can get going. But yeah, I mean, COVID was one of the biggest ones. And yeah, I mean, ongoing problems of like, let's say you hire somebody and that the hire doesn't work, or they screw it up, or like something is not working, orders are not being fulfilled, like ads are going bad. You cannot find good team members. Like something is off with accounting. So I just like ongoing issues of fixing. And I do have the mentality of like, I don't care what it is, I'll figure it out. So like vast majority of the time, like it's like, oh, what you're gonna do? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Like, I'll do something.
Vilen, what was your inspiration to choose your product lines? Where did it all come from?
Yeah, so I had this list of let me open the list of criteria that I wanted from a winner product. So it had to solve a problem. It had to have a large market. It had to be hard to find in stores. It had to be unique and impressive. It had to have some competition. It had to have a track record of selling. It had to be evergreen, which means I could sell it for a very long time. It had to have healthy margins, gross profit margins, and it had to be perceived as high value. So if you go through, like if you attached makeup foundation to that criteria, it matched everything. So it was like 10 out of 10. I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know anything about cosmetics, and I still don't. And I was like, but this looks like, if I have a criteria that I'm going to follow, then I'm going to follow. I'm not going to have any emotional attachment to the product. So let me give this product a shot. So, and it was my very first product that I tried, and I'm happy that I went for it.
How did you source it?
From AliExpress. Just went to AliExpress, searched the brand name, found the one that it wasn't the cheapest one, but it had the most amount of reviews. So I was like, I was not dumb enough to go with the cheapest one and have issues with the supply chain. So I would just pay a bit more, but get it delivered.
And where did the name come from? And how did you brand? And
yeah, so because the product had already the brand name on it, and I went up online and I saw all these competitors that were selling from like scammy shops. It was like trendy products xyz.com, or like some things like that. I was like, what if I can position myself as a seller of the brand, like a major seller of the brand, without looking scammy, right? So I would just call the website. Initially it was tryfora.com, but after my first account shut down from Facebook, it turned into getfora.com. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how it went. So the product name already was on it. I just positioned myself in a better way than the marketplace.
I think one of the other things that impressed me as we went through the process, Vilen, was that I think in every month that we worked together and got financial updates, your number of recurring customers, repeat customers, increased. So, people loved this product. And I think, to your credit, you worked through some of those challenges you had in fulfillment and customer service, and you kept really good reviews on Facebook. And because of that, people came back to buy again. So how big did it get for you in terms of kind of the total volume of business you were doing, and how many total customers did you have, and what was kind of, when you sold, what was the recurring customer?
Yeah, when we sold, In total, we had 450,000 customers, and on a monthly basis, we were getting 30% returning customer rate.
Yeah.
So we had over 50,000 returning customers, and yeah, so 2+ times of repeat purchases.
Yeah. That's so valuable.
Yeah, it's I believe it's the most amount of that's the biggest value component of the business. And then the key to that was that even if it's shipped from China, it had like 7-day shipping time. So I bought a sneakers from Under Armour, and they're a $1 billion US company, and I got them in 2 weeks. I'm like, so it's not like it's a 2-month shipping time. It's not like the packaging is crap and like the product is bad. Everything is extremely good, and it's just the drop shipping model. People, this is what I mean by treating it as a business. Drop shipping just means that you don't hold inventory in the beginning, right? You don't hold inventory, but that's it. Everything else is like applies to if you're a big brand or a drop shipper, like everything is the same, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I treated the brand, and it paid dividends.
So besides the shipping time though, how did your customers stay loyal to you? Like, did you put them in some sort of email sequence? Like how did they stay loyal?
Yeah, we had a whole process of email marketing, SMS marketing, retargeting with ads, making new offers, bundles. So different offers like discounts with different like events and celebrations and holidays. So that has been a tremendous amount of help. And plus, just going through the process of purchasing from the website. Let's say the customer doesn't know their shade, right? And they send us a message. They're like, "Oh, I don't know which shade to get," and we help them out to pick a shade. And they're like, "Oh, this has been super helpful. I love you, so I'm gonna order again." Or if the shade did not work for them, let's say they're like, "Oh, this is a bit light," we would just send them another shade for absolutely for free. They're like, "Oh, this is amazing. So I get 2 products, like I get it for free. I thought I was going to pay for it. So I'm just going to come back and buy, and I'm going to refer 2 of my friends to come back and buy." So that's kind of how it grew. It's like treat your customers as customers, not just numbers on Facebook dashboard.
Hear, hear.
That's great advice.
Vilen, when it came to transition, was it kind of on the fly, or did you have it all systematically laid out, or how did that work?
I knew how transition would have happened from the beginning of working with ISAC, because I mean, you can't, if you're going to sell your business, obviously there's going to be a transition period, right? So it's like, might as well get prepared for it, because also the buyer will be curious of how you're going to do it. So I had, by that time, so I had a team of 11 people. Everything was being done automatically. I was just working maybe an hour or 2 hours a day, and I had all the places that like pretty much had all the systems, processes, team members, everything laid out. And I knew like, oh, the first week, this is going to be transition for the first week. This is going to be the training for the first week. This is going to be the training for the second, third transition. So I had it laid out. But I guess it's specific for every business and specific to where you are at the business journey.
So why not just keep this train rolling then? Like, why sell the company if you're working 1-2 hours a day and you're profiting, tens of thousands of dollars a month?
Yeah, I wasn't passionate about it. Like I told you, I didn't know anything about cosmetics, and I thought to myself, well, I can go 2 routes. I can double down on this business and grow it, and the growth opportunities were there 100%. Like I could do so many things with the brand, but it's like if I have to go through all this pain and kind of struggle to grow it, why not, and like work on it? Why not just do something that I enjoy? So it was like kind of a win-win situation. It's like I can exit the business, I can get capital for my future endeavors, I can transition the business to somebody who can grow it, and there's a lot of meat on the bone to keep growing the business, and it's kind of like a win-win situation. So that's what I decided. It's like, okay, let's do this. But even throughout the process, as I can tell you, is like, if we sell it, we sell it. If we don't, it's like, it's okay. I can, I don't mind keeping it.
Yeah, I have a question on that. So when you started the process with Isaac, did you have in mind who you thought the perfect buyer would be? And if so, did that match who ended up buying the company?
That one I didn't. I actually didn't, because the whole thing was so new to me. I had no idea. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be somebody like me who bought the company, who was going to just have a small team running the company. Is it going to be like $1 billion brand just buying the company to get the, like, all close to 500,000 customers? Is it going to be like a conglomerate of like a different brand, a firm that has different type of brands, and like, so I didn't know what to expect.
So who did you connect with then? Like, did you talk to a few different companies that were, smaller companies and then some larger ones?
So I got a good friend of mine, Alex Sedotov. He introduced me to Isaac and Brent, and I asked you guys, so what is needed from me, and they were very upfront, very honest. It's like, we're gonna have to obviously get the information for the company financials, etc., make the package and launch it, and then from there on we'll handle all the paperwork and the NDAs and the, like, screening, buyer screening, calls, etc. So kind of, it's more of a Isaac question who we talk to, but yeah, we've had a lot of activity.
Yeah, we had I think well over 200 NDA responses for this company. We probably conducted 20 or more buyer calls. We had multiple offers on the business, and ultimately found a buyer that had the right capital structure when we closed. And I don't know if you can share any of the kind of, not the dollar amounts, but just the type of structure that you got and how the deal worked out.
Yeah, so it was a 100% cash purchase with a 2-month transition, and that's what I wanted. I honestly, if I could have went with a different structure with, let's say, seller note, and let's say an earnout. I would have got more money from it, but I have a kind of tendency to, if I do something, like, I like to start from a clean plate. I don't like to intermingle project, etc. So I was like, if I'm exiting the business, might as well just exit it completely. You know what I mean? So it's been like that to let's say, when I buy a car, I pay it cash. I don't like to get the loan, so I don't have to worry about monthly payments, because that's a to-do list that intermingles with everything else. So it's like,
You haven't been in America long enough.
Yeah,
need
you
to
got to
spend a
learn
little
the
more
tax.
time in America.
You got to
and
learn
you'll
those
start taking out
IRS
loans.
taxes.
yeah. I mean,
I was thinking the same
doing
thing.
so many things stupidly. It's crazy. I mean, I'm doing so many, like, yeah.
So
But
Vilen,
it's kind of my personal thing. So I wanted that cash purchase structure, and I'm very happy that I got it. And yeah.
Vilen, you visualized all these different kinds of buyers. Isaac brought you, a large amount of buyers. Who, in the end, what kind of buyer was it?
Yeah, so he's an individual owner on an older side, and he has a tremendous amount of experience in business in general. So the kind of, what he was looking for when he purchased the business was just a cash flow machine. It's like, I buy the business and I leave it, and it pumps out cash flow. and I'm happy to say that's what he got. So during the transition period, I even hired another person to take over my responsibility in the company and kind of train them as well. So at the moment, um, I believe like the new owner is doing the minimal amount of work, like maybe 10 minutes a day, and is still making a very good amount. And I guess it all matched.
So after the sale of your company, I don't picture you hanging on the beach, like the days of being a lifeguard. What is going on now? What's next?
Yeah, so right now I'm in the resting phase. So I had a trip to Vegas, I had a trip to Florida. I just got back from Dubai yesterday with a lot of my friends, and then I'm leaving to Maldives in 2 days. But I planned this like a very long time ago. So I planned a 1 month rest, and then when I come back on May 12th, that's kind of when I'm gonna get back to work, start something new, and yeah, I cannot imagine myself now working. Like, what else am I going to do? I'll just go crazy. Like, so I'm so excited. I get the itch of going back to work like probably 2 days after we exited the company. So I've had that itch for like 2 months now, and I'm gonna see. So I'm going to Maldives with my girlfriend, and I'm telling her like, oh, I cannot wait to come back and get to work. And she's like, can't you just enjoy for just 2 weeks? Like, you're gonna get a bit of rest. Like, you don't even worry about. I'm like, no, I can't. It's just me. Like, I have to go back to work. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
You're afflicted by that disease called entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. It's because I've seen the whole spectrum. I've seen what it's like to not being able to leave your country, like the visa issues, passport issues. You can't do anything. You can't travel. You can't see friends and family. You go to a store. You can't buy anything. You can't like even growing up, like I want this toy, like I cannot get it. I want this food, I cannot get it. So I've seen all of that, and I'm very fortunate that I'm not in that situation anymore. But like thinking about it, the freedom and kind of um, all of the stuff that I have all came through work. So am I just gonna leave it and like waste my time? Like, I don't think so. So I'm just gonna go back and double down on work and then see what happens in the next 10 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 22.
22, and you had
Amazing.
a big exit. What a great story. Love it.
Thank you.
So Vilen, with your next company, are you gonna I'll ask the question, are you gonna use website closers to help you sell the next
Oh man,
one?
that's cheap.
Yeah, of course.
Put him on the spot.
Of course. I was motivating Isaac and Brent. I was telling them, hey, look, I know this is not the biggest close, like, but the next one that I'm gonna bring you guys in a few years, that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be huge. And I still have that plan. So yeah, definitely, of course.
Awesome.
Vilen, give us a teaser. What's the next company going to be? Like, what are you narrowing it down to?
I don't know. It's gonna have to do something with online, 100%. And I don't know about specifics, but I guess we'll figure it out when I'm on the next podcast.
All right, that was Vilen Abrahamyan, and the website he started is getfora.com. That's GETPHOERA.com. Thanks everyone for listening to this episode of the Deal Closers Podcast, brought to you by websiteclosers.com. If you like the show, be sure to rate us, write a review, press the follow button, or share with your network. And of course, if you're looking for help selling your e-commerce business, be sure to visit websiteclosers.com. This episode was edited and produced by Earfluence. I'm Jason Gillikin, and we'll see you next time on the Deal Closers Podcast.